Today is March 29, 2023. My name is Rob Carr of Kalamazoo Right to Life, and this is Pro-Life Week. Well, a few things on today's program. Last week, I spoke about Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville and his strategy to block the Senate from approving Pentagon nominees. And I think this refers mainly with promotions within service members, officers, major to colonel, colonel to general, 1-star to a 2-star, 2-star to a 3-star, and so on. These promotions are approved by the Senate. So why is he doing this? The Defense Department is pushing through a new policy about abortion. If a service member wants an abortion or a service member's wife wants an abortion, but they live in a state where abortion has been banned, then the Defense Department will use tax dollars to fly that person to a state that permits abortions, where the abortion can be performed. Tuberville has been joined by other Republican senators, including Iowa Senator Joni Ernst. She said the new policy is illegally turning the Defense Department into, quote, an abortion travel agency, unquote. It violates the heart and soul of the Hyde Amendment that's been on the books since 1977. Federal government is not in the business of funding with tax dollars abortions. And it's been upheld every year. Ernst said that other members of her committee, Republicans, agree with her. Quote, we're not saying that women cannot seek abortions. They can do that. But that is to be privately funded, unquote. Said Tuberville, quote, I hate to have to do this, blocking these promotions, but we make the laws over here. The Defense Department does not. This is not about abortion, he says. It's about taxpayer-funded abortions, unquote. Thus far, Tuberville has succeeded in blocking at least 160 Pentagon promotions, and he has promised to hold the line until the Defense Department abolishes the new policy. Well, Secretary of Defense Austin Lloyd so far has refused to budge, but he's just following orders from the top. Joe Biden is calling the shots here. He is a dedicated pro-abortion zealot and ideologue. He is unable, and definitely he is unwilling, to see the other side, to see that the unborn baby is a human being, a member of the human family who deserves the right to life. Okay, moving on. In Wisconsin, there is a race for the state Supreme Court that's drawn my attention. Election day is April 4th, so we're fast approaching this race. And early voting has already begun. Conservative pro-life judge Daniel Kelly, who actually was a former member of the Wisconsin Supreme Court, is running to fill a vacant seat. Opposing him is a die-hard pro-abortion Judge Janet. And forgive me, I'm not able to pronounce her last name. It looks too complicated, so I'm just going to call her Judge Janet. She is getting millions of campaign dollars from outside sources. George Soros has already donated $1 million. The governor of Illinois has sent $1 million. And I'm not sure if that's coming from his personal wealth or from the Illinois Democratic Party. I mean, it's not obviously coming from the treasury of the state of Illinois, but it's coming from the Democrats. And even Nancy Pelosi has donated $12,000, which is a sizable amount for a single donation. Judge Janet has also received $8 million from the Wisconsin Democratic Party. And of course, she's endorsed by Emily's List and Planned Parenthood. Her fund, Janet for Justice, has received $12.4 million, primarily from these outside sources, and Kelly's campaign, as our pro-life judge, has received $2.2 million. So we're looking at $12 million from the pro-abortion side and $2 million from the pro-life side. Once again, we see out-of-state rich guys and mega donors trying to buy elections. Sound familiar? Here we are, and this is Michigan, and Prop 3 was a perfect example where we raised 21 million and the other side raised about 50 million. So, and you kind of figure out who won that race, that referendum, because the other side was able to blanket Michigan with lies and deceptions. And unfortunately and tragically, a majority of the Michigan voters bought into those lies and voted accordingly. So, and I've mentioned before, and we've read before, that in Prop 3 here in Michigan, most of that outside money came from New York State, probably New York City, and California. So, outside sources are the bane of what's happening here across the country when it comes to pro-life laws. Pray that pro-life voters will win in this very important race. Now, yesterday, in the Georgia State Supreme Court, now this is not the federal, but the State Supreme Court in Georgia, they heard arguments pertaining to the state's 2019 fetal heartbeat bill. Back when it was passed, 3.5-4 years ago, it was immediately challenged by pro-abortion groups, and a state judge blocked it. But after the Dobbs decision in June of 2022, the law took effect, at least temporarily. But then a judge blocked it again. And then in November of last year, around the time of the election, the state Supreme Court temporarily reinstated the law pending yesterday's hearing. So the pro-abortion attorney claims that since the Georgia heartbeat law was enacted in 2019, it was clearly unconstitutional then because of past Supreme Court rulings on abortion. But several justices on the Georgia bench seem to disagree. In the Dobbs opinion, Justice Sam Alito wrote that Roe v. Wade was wrongly decided from day one. It was egregiously wrong the day it was decided. And the Constitution never considered abortion a protected right. Based on these comments by 3 or 4 of the Georgia Supreme Court members, based on their comments, it seems very likely that the Georgia heartbeat bill will survive this challenge and will go into effect, becoming law and saving thousands of babies. Because remember, even though the heartbeat bill is not a ban from conception, it's not. It does ban abortions after or once a fetal heartbeat can be detected, and that's usually around the 6th week of pregnancy. So during that first 6 weeks, abortion is still legal. But then here again, it's a fact that a lot of women are not even aware they're pregnant for the first 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. So it's possible that some of these women who want abortions have a very narrow, maybe 3-week window on getting an abortion before that fetal heartbeat can be detected. So this law will save thousands and thousands of lives. And for that, we are grateful. And with that, I will let you go, and I will see you next time.